Nick, were you more or less impressed with your guy, Josh Allen?
Well, the answer has to be less. And, I can get really frustrated watching some of these Bills games because it's like, and I don't want to pick on my guy Chris Collinsworth, who I think is as good as anyone in the business of what he does, but he just can't pivot sometimes when the game starts pivoting. So, we saw the first game of the year, Bills-Rams, and it's just a tribute laid at the feet of the defending Super Bowl champion Josh Allen against some also ran Rams. And then he throws a couple back-to-back interceptions.
Those weren't his fault.
And his first one is, we need a new stat category. NOH, not on him, or whatever he called it, NHF. And then the second, and then he threw, and while he's talking about that, then he throws an even worse one.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, that one might be on him. And then last night, Josh Allen, we can show, these are the picks. They're just terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Up 17 points in each instance, and we can show you the numbers.
Oh, look at this.
He was played almost perfectly in the first half. And here's why it's noteworthy to me, Coach. Week 1 against the Rams, the Bills and Josh Allen are mediocre at best in the first half, amazing in the second half. Week 2 against the Ravens, they're awful in the first half, excellent in the second half. Week 3 against Kansas City, they do nothing in the first half until the final minute of it. When the Chiefs called that timeout, they go 98 yards like that, and then they were very good in the second half. And now against Green Bay. So that's 4 of their games. Now, they've won them all. So it's a testament to how talented they are that they can only play a half and still get a win. But I don't know. To me, that's obvious, and I get labeled a Josh Allen hater. I think I'm saying what is obvious now through half the season. You can be both.
You can be saying something obvious and be a Josh Allen hater.
Good call, buddy. That's probably what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you're more of a Josh Allen hater than right. There is a human nature component to the way these games go, and what they score 4 times in a row, or the last 4 drives of the first half. They've got the game in hand. You go in at halftime, you're feeling good, and sometimes guys exhale. And then on the flip side of that, Green Bay's getting beat up. They go in. I'm sure there's a lot of yelling and motivating and, hey, enough is enough. And two teams come out with totally different mentalities in the second half. And then defensively, the Bills didn't really hold up their end of the bargain either. They give, the most yards they've given up all season, the most rushing yards they've given up all season. And so now Josh Allen starts to push a little bit because he's not having that success. And you realize we're in a game. And it's hard to transition from where they were in the first half to how they came out in the second half. Then he's trying to turn it on, and I think that's where
he
starts pressing and making mistakes.
You're saying they're too good for their own good? Like they're too good in the first half?
I'm saying that the momentum they had going into halftime was so great that I think they thought they were going to come out in the second half and Green Bay was just going to roll over. Then Green Bay bowed up, they fought, the defense wasn't holding up great either. And suddenly Josh Allen's like, all right, we're in a game here. I got to make some plays.
I guess just quickly, Brew, I would like that more if not for the second pick. So he throws the first pick up 17, and then they get a pick right back on the tip ball right back. If it was like, I took my foot off the gas, whatever, then you're down at the goal line, you're up 17, any points in the game's over, and you throw a second pick. That to me shows and there is still a bit of old Josh Allen living in there.
Was this a throwaway, you think, though? That was
No, I think he's throwing to 13 there.
That's a really bad throw.
Yeah, but there's still a bit in there, Brew, of the guy who threw the ball over the back of his head in the overtime of a playoff game. That I just have to make a play instead of living to fight another down.
Pretty nice play by the defensive back, too. I think what he was trying to do is hit that second base throw. You throw it low. You figure your receiver's going to go down and dig it out. And the DB did a better job of anticipating the throw and going to get it. But he gets praised so much for making plays like that. So there's going to be some of those other plays that are going to show up. It's just, hopefully it doesn't show up in the meaningful games as opposed to this game where they had much more in hand.
I do agree with you, Nick, in that the praise, Collinsworth, it was over the top. I was sitting there like, wow, this is just a coronation of Josh Allen. But that said, I'm with Coach. I think they took their foot off the gas. It was so easy in the first half that I think they relaxed. And it almost, and I don't think this is the case, but it felt like they lost some motivation because the Packers didn't really put up a fight. I mean, and this is the great Aaron Rodgers coming in here, saying this could be good for us. You're thinking, okay, this is going to be a game. We got to be on our A game. And they ended up playing their D game, if that, in the second half. But I'm not worried. The one thing that concerned me was their rush defense.
Yeah.
Because they have been great against the run all year. I'm not worried about Allen. The run defense, though, was – and for the Packers, that's how they need to go forward.
So that's what I know you're saying it's like a motivation thing, but I actually took it positive in a positive way for the Packers. I was like sneaky impressed with the Packers. And as much as Aaron Rodgers was trying to motivate everybody, if I'm looking at the second half of that game, I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe we turned it around. Just like how the Bills like quietly turned around when they lost to Tampa Bay, but they played strong at the end last year. If we look at what you were saying, rushing, I thought there was like a little bit of dominance there. They went from 94 yards
to 60
to 38, and we're like, run the ball, run the ball. And I didn't think they were going to do it against how good the Bills' defense was. Next thing you know, they ran for 208, and I thought that gave them a little momentum. There's a little bit of physicality to it. Aaron Rodgers was, seemed friendly with his wide receivers, making some good catches. I thought this was like as good as a loss as it could be for a team that's on a bad losing streak. I think that they've turned their season around. Wow. They go into Detroit next week. They'll win. Then they host the Cowboys
and
for like a sneak. I don't know.
Whacked.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Look, I think the rushing yards has a little bit of an asterisk because when you're up by that,
you're letting it run.
Well, and against Aaron Rodgers, you're going to play split safety, so you're not going to have as many guys in the box. So the run should be there. Now, that being said, it's still an impressive number that Green Bay was able to put up in the second half. But there was a total component of relaxing. Green Bay's down to their 2 starting linebackers, too. I'm sure the Bills just thought, all right, we're going to come out, we're going to sleepwalk through the second half and continue to beat at the
How
Packers.
worried are you about the Packers, though?
I'm actually optimistic about the Packers.
That's what I'm saying. I'm out here.
Here's why. Whenever you have Aaron Rodgers, okay, and I know he has played up to expectations, but you also have the ability, I do think they have the ability to run the ball, and where they've gotten in trouble is when they haven't had 15, 20, 25 rushes per game. They have to make that a core component of what they do to try to free up the receivers, to try to get cleaner looks. They're just not getting what they need in the passing game because they're not committing to the running game.
I agree. Like, I think what they should have seen yesterday was, okay, we have to establish the run. Like, that should be our first thing.
Yeah.
We're a running team. And Rodgers, these are the quarterbacks he's going to battle for that last. Like, right now, they're a game out of the 7th spot.
Yeah, they're one game out of the playoffs.
You're talking about Aaron Rodgers versus Marcus Mariota, Justin Fields, Daniel Jones, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith. Like, these are the guys he might be battling with.
That's
I'm
not
going
how
with
I
Rodgers.
look at this at all. There's in the NFC, Philly, Dallas, Minnesota. The winner of the NFC South, which is probably going to be Tampa, and the winner of the
That's
NFC West,
5, right.
which
So
is
you got
probably going to be
2 left.
San Francisco. So that's 5. So that means the Giants, the Falcons, Seattle, and Green Bay, if you want to include the Rams, so be it, are fighting for 2 spots. The Packers are less trustworthy than any team there but the Rams. Seattle's a good team.
Yeah,
with a quarterback that is playing at a far higher level than Rodgers is. The Giants have an incredibly forgiving schedule. They're obviously well coached. They play good defense, and they're limited by their quarterback. And then the Falcons, I don't believe in the Falcons at all. They should have lost yesterday, but they find a way. They have found a way thus far to win some games. Green Bay's lost 4 in a row. They're 3-5. They are right now, if you think they can make the playoffs, they're almost 2-1 in Vegas to make the playoffs. They have the 10th best odds in their own conference to make the playoffs. I don't think they're eliminated like I think the Rams are.
Yep.
I think they're in real
Spooky music means you got played out like the Academy. You didn't get
2
played
to
out.
1. 2 to 1.
Get played out.
Aren't you supposed to read that to you?
Well, we're just chatting. Establishing chemistry.
It's Halloween. Why aren't you wearing your clown nose? Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.